live.
Oh, is this thing on? I don't care. I want him to hear.
This is the Pregame Show, your early morning shot of sports on 95.7 The Game. Come on!
Damn right. It's a Pregame Show, baby. Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game. 3 days, 10 hours, 28 minutes, 34 seconds until the Super Bowl. Can you feel it? It's getting closer. Starting to get the knots in your stomach getting a little bit tighter with every passing hour, 49er fans, but in a good way. What is that meme from Willy Wonka? The anticipation's killing me. Something like that. I hope it'll last. The suspense is killing me. Whatever it is. R.I.P. Gene Wilder. The one true Willy Wonka. Much like Stannis Baratheon, the one true king, as we all know. San Francisco Sheriff's Office countdown to kickoff clock right there. Again, 3 days, 10 hours, 27 minutes, and counting. Speaking of which, where's my count? Give it. Thank you. That still does something to me. If you watch that show, 24, Jack Bauer, whenever they ended it with the countdown clock, it's like, it got me again. How is Jack going to get out of this one? I don't know. It was 24 and Lost that dominated the early 2000s and crappy reality TV. But you know what? I love crappy reality TV. I'm not afraid to admit it. And I'm not afraid to admit that you can get involved in the show. Please. 888-957-9570 is the number to call or text the Comcast Business text line. Also, we are streaming live on Twitch and YouTube all day long, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. By the way, you're not going to want to miss the 10 to 2, and for sure, the morning roast. That goes without saying. I mean, you're not going to any other show in the Bay for your 49ers coverage than the morning roast. Not even mine. That's saying something. But 10 to 2. Steiny and Goo in Vegas? Super Bowl week? I got to see this. So you're not going to want to miss all that action. They're going to be at Radio Row. They're going to be getting everyone. Evan's going to be wrangling people over. Low Neal should be in the Hall of Fame, but all-pro fullback Lorenzo Neal, our 95.7 The Game host as well, going to be joining them out there in Viva Las Vegas. E-Dog, the one guy that's single out of those bunch, too. Come on, Evan. I actually hope Evan is up. Means he had a good night. Great night. Now he's not going to get any sleep, but I mean, he's got a three host booth right there. Take a nap, Evan. From 10 to 2. I know you already do that half the time. I'm kidding. Love me some Evan Giddings doing a hell of a job on Warriors pre and post. And Mark Grandy doing a hell of a job last night on Warriors wrap up. Warriors 127, Sixers 104. Warriors just 2 games away from the 500 mark. NBA trade deadline today. And that ends, what was it, 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock? 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock Eastern, the NBA trade deadline. The Warriors going to do anything? Should they? I mean, I know they just beat the 76ers, who really, their best player is Tobias Harris at this point because everyone's out, including the reigning MVP, Joel Embiid. He might be out for the year. But did that sway anything for you, Warriors fans? How are we feeling? Because on one hand, that's great. You know, Wiggins looked good. 9 of 14, 21 points, 10 boards, looking like two-way Wiggs. I don't know how much stock I can put into that performance against a very bad Sixers team. I'm not saying don't celebrate the win because we have seen the Warriors lose to teams, a skeleton closet crew, if you will. Skeleton crew. Did I say skeleton closet crew? That's something. That's a new one.
That's what you keep in your closet.
There you go. The skeleton crew. What am I saying here? By the way,
the Warriors got a few of those too, but different day, different show.
Thank you. I was going to say, we as a station, we get so many sayings wrong. We just go with it. Like we're batting 1,000 on some of these when it comes to me, Shasky, Guru, Bonte. It's all
no
over
one
the
was
place.
better at that than Lorenzo Neal.
Oh,
he would come up with just the most random phrases that you never heard of before, but you rolled with it because he said it so confidently.
Same church, same pew. Ifs and buts, candies and nuts. We'd all have a Merry Christmas. I love Lo Neal. Again, 10-2 with Steiny and Goo the next 2 days. They will be out in Viva Las Vegas for Super Bowl week. And again, we'll break down all the Super Bowl highlights, everything going, everything happening. We will do that. Don't worry. We'll get to the Super Bowl because there's storylines galore. Mahomes, Purdy, Kelsey, Reed, Shanahan. Awful lot to get to. But first, I wanted to touch on the Warriors and their win last night. And this comment from Steve Kerr after the game, very interesting to me. Take a listen. This is Steve Kerr after the Warriors win in Philadelphia, 127-104, the head coach, talking about the team coming together.
Well, the defense has been better, over the last couple of weeks. I don't know what the rating is, but I'm sure it's dramatically better than, where we were before that, before this stretch. I like the starting lineup. I like, JK and Wiggs together. Everybody on this team has just overcome whatever individual obstacles have come their way. And you can always tell, as a coach, you can tell if your team is connected, if they have the right energy, if they're supporting each other, if they care about each other. And I love this group. I love this team. They just, they're staying with it. They've been through so much, both individually and as a team. And they're just connected and forging ahead. And I really feel great about, the path we're on. It's a great win and really important to take care of business and keep the minutes down, going to Indianapolis tomorrow, for a tough game. So I was so impressed with our guys' defense and the connection. The whole group just played with great energy, and it just really feels like this team is coming together. I'm excited.
Steve Kerr after the Warriors 127-104 win over the Philadelphia 76ers. Warriors improved to 23-25 on the year, 10-12 on the road. Sixers 30-20, 17-9 at home. And to his point, Steph Curry, 2 of 7, 9 points, and you win by 23? Yes, I'd say that bodes well for their matchup against Indiana tonight. I say tonight, obviously. It's going to be daytime still here in the Bay, and coverage of that on 95.7 The Game starting at 3 o'clock with Warriors Live. Tip-off at 4 with the great Tim Roy. And then obviously join us after the game for Warriors wrap-up. The Grandy man, Mark Grandy, going to be taking your calls there. The Warriors trying to get a lot of momentum heading into the trade deadline, which again, today at 12 o'clock. Are there moves that need to be made? Do you stand pat? What say you, Warriors fans? 888-957-9570. And good morning to all of you on YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Search 95.7 The Game. Like and subscribe there. Sammy G, Jaime Valenzuela, Nicole Diaz, Enter the Draymond, Damon Chang, Double Marge, all y'all. Ernie, Earn Dog, Double Marge. Wiggs, I'm hesitant, Double Marge, to say Wiggins is all the way back. Let's see a month of this. Please. This is tricky. Because on one hand, right, you're 2 games under 500. You could, rationalize standing pat, giving this team a chance. And there were some comments from Steve Kerr yesterday, and I was reading Kendra Andrews' article for ESPN. She covers the team, does a great job. Friend of the Morning Roast. And Steve Kerr said, quote, if we don't do anything tomorrow, I feel like we've got a good group that we can push through. Right? And in the long haul, I feel like this team could be something special. That's from Steve Kerr. Do you see special with this team right now? Do you feel like if they stick with this group going forward, they could be special? That's the head coach's words. I just have a hard time standing pat. Not just the trade deadline, but the summer. Because when he said long haul. Long haul for me is the next 2 to 3 years. I don't know in the long haul you can keep this core together. I know Clay had a good game last night. He's been up and down. I just look at where the Warriors are in the Western Conference, and I look at who is above them as we pull up the Western Conference standings right now. Thunder, Timberwolves, I know they have to show it, but they're not going anywhere. God, both of them are 35 and 16. What kind of alternate universe is this where the Thunder and Timberwolves are on top of the Western Conference? Well, the alternate universe is the current reality. The youth movement is in full effect around the Western Conference. And if it's not the youth movement, it's basically the Los Angeles Clippers, who have talent galore and it's finally all clicking and they're finally all healthy. And we know the question mark for the Clippers, can they stay healthy when it matters most? We'll see. But they're 34 and 16. You got the Nuggets. Yes, the defending champion Nuggets, who no one is talking about, they are up there as well. The Phoenix Suns, 7 and 3. Yeah, Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, I think they figured things out. Pelicans, 4 in a row. Hottest team in the West. Kings, they're 29-21, but that was a bad loss to Detroit. I saw they were trolling Detroit up at Golden 1-2 with 49ers highlights. Tough. 49ers Lions highlights, excuse me. Tough scene. And by the way, on that NFC Championship day, don't forget, Detroit won earlier that morning. And I was half kidding when I said Detroit used up all their magic that day. Because who was it? They beat the Nuggets. They beat someone in the West that was really good. It might have been the Timberwolves. I forget. But the Kings messed around and found out last night about the Detroit Pistons. Hell, the Warriors almost did too. Then you got the Mavericks at the 8th seed, 28-23. Lakers are hanging around. They won 3 straight, 27-25. We'll see if they make any moves at the deadline. Again, 12 o'clock West Coast time, Pacific time is that deadline. Then you got the Jazz, 26-26. They've won 2 in a row. So for the long haul, do you feel like this current Warriors group, I'm going to call it Steph, Dre, Wiggins, and Clay. Oh, Kuminga. Those 5. We'll see with Clay in this summer. But I'm going to stick with those 5 because those are the main dudes right now. I'm not going to include Paul, Moody, Looney. If you want to toss in Pajemski, okay. But even he is on the table if something comes to fruition potentially, either at the deadline or in the summer. But those 5, Clay, Steph, Wiggins, Kuminga, Draymond, are we sticking with that core going forward? 888-957-9570. One more from the head coach talking about the guy we just mentioned, Klay Thompson, his demeanor. Take a listen.
He just looks so relaxed out there. And, Clay just puts a lot of pressure on himself sometimes. He goes through stretches of the season where, he just expects to make every shot. And, he's hard on himself. And when he plays like he did tonight, just under control, moving the ball when that's the right thing to do, shooting when he's open, he's a fantastic player. So I loved Clay's game tonight, very much under control and just fit in with the group. And it was perfect.
6 of 12, 4 or 5 from beyond the arc, 18 points for Klay Thompson, who was a team high, plus 24 in the plus minus. If you're into that sort of thing. The huge positive for me out of this game, though, at 888-957-9570, pregame show, Joe Spadoni, was Kuminga and Wiggins playing together and starting together and looking good. Again, skeleton closet crew, as we're calling them. in Philadelphia. Not the greatest team. But for a team like the Warriors this season, for the 2023-2024 Warriors, which have struggled against every single team in some way or fashion this year, I don't care. That's a win in and of itself. Kuminga and Wiggins looking like they belong together on the court at the same time. And by the way, Jonathan Kuminga, that's a career high in assists, 5. Keep those numbers up, man. Yeah, your minutes are going to be sticking around 29 to 30. And right now, he's my second best player, and I'm leaning on the kid. That youth, hey, if Stephen Curry, again, could only score 9 points and 2 with 7 from the field, and you win by 23, yeah, I'd say things are going pretty well for Jonathan Kuminga. He ain't going anywhere at the deadline. You can lock that in real quick. By the way, will there be any activity for the Warriors? Well, the Morning Roast asked Anthony Slater the other day, and you can find that entire interview on the Odyssey app or search 95.7 The Game on YouTube. And here's what Slate's had to say about the Warriors' activity at the deadline.
I think there's a chance like a Corey Joseph gets traded into space. Like that saves money. I think Kevon Looney's contract is vulnerable just considering what it is. And we're probably talking more tax savings or minor deals here. Wiggins is the bigger name that I think is at least in discussion. But, you know, and Brian Windhorst said it yesterday and everything I've heard kind of backs this up. But it's just like the deals on the table potentially for Wiggins just are not that appealing. I'm not sure they help this Warriors team now or in the future more than just leaving Andrew Wiggins in the closing lineup, which he currently is, and on the books until the summer where you can maybe re-explore it. Maybe he rehabs some of his value.
And maybe, just maybe, right before the deadline, he's actually, gotten some of that value back. Maybe, just maybe. 888-957-9570. We can continue to take your calls and text regarding the Warriors. But again, it's 3 days, 10 hours, and 11 minutes now till the freaking Super Bowl. Thank you. Jabba's excited. I'm fired up. The more this game inches closer and closer and closer, and the more they keep talking about the Kansas City Chiefs, I swear to God, I'm looking up at, we have like 4 different TVs in this room. One's the clock, one's the countdown. Then we got, NFL Network, ESPN, whatever. And I swear to God, I'm seeing everything and anything about the greatness of the Chiefs everywhere. Are the 49ers playing in this game? National media? Are they? Apparently not. They're favored for a reason, people. They're favored for a reason. Why? Because they were the best team in the NFC, and they have the best roster. Yes. Am I taking crazy pills? Is that a hot take? The 49ers are just a better team? Because I'm listening to all these interviews, and we're going to have a bunch of people at Radio Row on Steiny and Goo, and we're going to talk to our guy out in KC, Carrington, covers the Chiefs in the Morning Roast. What time is that, Sammy?
Carrington Harrison, that is at 6:30 today.
There you go. That's going behind the enemy line, 6:30. Carrington Harrison. What a name, by the way. Thank you, Brock. I just had to play the Brock SpongeBob. I mean, come on. You're betting against that guy? But I'm just looking at the rosters, and I keep listening to all these talking heads, these pundits, these so-called experts. And they keep saying how great Kansas City is. I don't know, man. You can't score on this team. Are we acting like the 49ers don't have the best collection of weapons on offense in the league? That it's, crazy that they could score on the Kansas City Chiefs? And by the way, we're giving so much damn credit to the Kansas City offense. Do you know the last time that offense even scored 30 points? No, seriously. Do you know the last time the vaunted Kansas City Chiefs scored 30? That was on November 26th. And that was against a Raiders team in Vegas that, you know what? They just fired their head coach. And I think that was a close game up like in the fourth quarter. It was a one-score game. Going up against Aiden O'Connell. God love you, Aiden. Rookie out of Purdue. Showed some flashes, but he's not Josh Allen. He's damn sure not Brock Purdy. Since that game, just look at the final scores for some of these. Packers against the Chiefs, 27-19. Bills, 20-17. Chiefs get a win, 27-17 against the Patriots. Horrible Patriots team. Then you got the Raiders on Christmas Day, beating you 20-14. Then you got the Chiefs against the Bengals with no Joe Burrow. And remember, that game, the Chiefs were playing for something still. That was a dicey game for them. Because if they lose that and the Raiders win in Indianapolis, all of a sudden, the Raiders control their own destiny for that division. So the Chiefs needed to win that. They eked by against Jake Browning in the Bengals, 25-17. Meaningless game, 13-12 against the Chargers in LA. Then 26-7 against the Dolphins. Okay. And then 27-24 against the Bills. Okay. 17-10 against the Ravens. I say all that to say this. I'm not acting like this Chiefs offense has been amazing and that they'll just go up and down the field in this 49ers defense. I think we are extreme prisoners of the moment, and obviously that's a lot of sports talk radio. I think the public are prisoners of the moment. They saw the championship games on Championship Sunday just a couple weeks ago, and they saw, Mahomes go in there and Travis Kelce, and you know what? Dominate defensively against the Ravens. But let's not act like there wasn't some, I'm not going to say flukes, because it wasn't a fluke. It was a hell of a play by L'Jarius Sneed. If Zay Flowers just holds on to the damn ball and doesn't do these stupid taunting penalties, could have been different. If Lamar Jackson doesn't throw into quadruple coverage in the end zone when he just needed a field goal, and I get it. You can say Spadoni, you can say that for everything. If Dan Campbell, just settles for the field goal, maybe the Niners aren't in this position. And that's true. That's absolutely true. But I felt like in the second halves of both of these games, if we're going prisoner of the moment in Championship Sunday, the 49ers took that game from the Detroit Lions. The Lions left a little crack open in the door, and the 49ers put on their steel-toe boots, their black Air Forces, and kicked that door down and took it. The Chiefs were holding on for dear life, and the Ravens just, threw up all over themselves like my baby girl does when she drinks too much milk. Just spit up. The Niners are getting slept on, man. It's pretty unbelievable. And again, 49ers fans, I am loving that. I am loving it. Peter King, what's the key for the 49ers to stop Pacheco?
You want to give Patrick Mahomes the fewest number of possessions that you can. And in order to do that, the thing they're going to have to do, the thing that I believe is really important in this game, is limiting Isaiah Pacheco. He has been an absolute piece of gold in these playoffs. And in my opinion, Mahomes is going to do his thing. He's going to make some plays. Kelce and they're going to get good things done. But the problem is, as I see, if they have a diverse offense that day, I think that it's going to be hard for San Francisco to win unless they limit the number of possessions that they allow Mahomes.
Spoiler alert, it'll be very tough if the Chiefs can run the ball on you. It's tough against any team if they can run the ball on you. That's why the Browns won against you when they had a fourth-string XFL quarterback in P.J. Walker. Spoiler alert, it's very hard when the other team runs on you. Yes, great. This game's going to come down to turnovers like it always does. You're going to get pressure on Mahomes and force him to turn the ball over or not. Are you going to get to Patrick Mahomes or not? I'm looking at Bosa. I'm looking at Chase Young. I'm looking at Javon Hargrave. I'm looking at Randy Gregory. I'm looking at whoever, Javon Kinlaw. Is Drake Jackson even going to play? He's been on a milk carton. Fight on University. Where are you at? I'm looking at defensive line. Because I'm not worried about Fred Warner. I'm not worried about Dre Greenlaw. I'm not worried about Charvarius Ward. And by the way, I kind of like that matchup for the 49ers. Charvarius Ward, if he's going to be getting handsy with Travis Kelce, that's the way you stop him. And I say stop loosely because you're not going to stop him. He'll get some catches. He'll get some touches. But you got to get handsy on him. You remember back to that Super Bowl against Tampa in Tampa Bay. That secondary for Tampa was all over Kelce. And he had that drop early on in that game, and it was a dime from Mahomes. It was on 3rd and long, and Kelce just dropped it. It felt like the momentum early on in that game swung totally. And if you don't think, if you're not taking my word for it on getting handsy with them, getting physical with an F, as Low Neal likes to say, just listen to Brian Baldinger, former NFL offensive lineman, NFL Network analyst, 95.7 The Game Insider.
I believe that you've got to get hands on Kelce.
Yeah.
Like, you just can't let him get started. You can't let him get into your routes. And Baltimore really didn't do that. It's not really how they play. They can. If they had to do it all over again, they probably would change it. But I think you've got to get your hands on him, and it's worth it to do it. And make Mahomes wait on him, and if it's not there, make him go someplace else.
All right, we're up against it. And yes, thank you, Jason Mishler, exactly. Drake hasn't even played since like week 4. He's been on a milk carton. Probably not going to get the call up in this game. But I'm calling all hands on deck, man. I'm talking about your strength and conditioning coaches getting out there, getting fired up. I don't care. It's the last game of the year. We're up against it. 888-957-9570. More 49ers, more Chiefs. The 49ers have the better team. So why are they getting slept on 95.7 The Game?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard this Air France radio announcement. Our very best 90th anniversary.
We're rolling on. Pregame show, Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game. God, I'm so fired up. 3 days, 9 hours, 56 minutes, 47, 46, 45. San Francisco Sheriff's Office countdown to kickoff clock. Just 3 days, 9 hours, 56 minutes away from Super Bowl 58. Will the 49ers capture their 6th Super Bowl trophy? Will the Chiefs go back-to-back for the first time a team would have done that in 20 years? When it was done against Andy Reid. When it was Belichick and co. going back-to-back. Tom Brady, Teddy Bruschi, Mike Vrabel. All those guys. Brock Purdy. Is he going to capture the hearts of America? Mr. Irrelevant to MVP potentially of the Super Bowl. Talk about that script. Is Taylor Swift going to join Usher on stage? These are the things that we need answers to, people. Those are the questions that need to be answered. Thanks, Brock. By the way, if you don't know what that is, that's Brock Purdy doing SpongeBob SquarePants imitation. Good morning to all of you. Lovely people. If you're just getting off work, getting ready for work, it's cold out there. It is very cold. Baby, it's cold outside. I mean, my heater was on last night, but it didn't feel like it. I was like, is something go like gas like shut off or something? I was like, no. It's just cold. Like 40 degrees. It was windy. I don't like any of it, to be honest with you. To quote the great Troy Aikman. I wish Troy was on this call. Gonna be honest. We haven't even talked about the broadcast portion of this. I love Jim Nantz because it's CBS. Jim Nantz. Great guy. Met him a couple times before. Yeah, no big deal. Frequents Pebble Beach, of course. Has a house there. I'm from right near there, Pacific Grove. Huh, you know. Shout out 17-mile drive. Actually sounds a lot fancier than it is. We rented as a family. But nonetheless, I claim Pebble Beach and that whole area. Carmel, all the way out to Salinas. Went to high school in Salinas. Shout out all the agricultural people. But Jim Nantz and Tony Romo for this game. And real quick, I feel like the hate or the bashing of Tony Romo has gotten a little bit extreme. It's one thing if he messes up a person's name and stuff like that. And I understand if you're a fan base, like, hey, the least you can do is do the homework, get these names right, stuff like that. And the number, okay, I get it. If the over the top, here we go, Jim, like stuff like that. Maybe it's lost. All right, but to act like he's now one of the worst analysts of all of them, let's take a step back real quick. Let's calm down, and maybe this is the performance that is getting slept on this weekend. Not Brock Purdy, not Patrick Mahomes, Kyle Shanahan or Andy Reid or Travis Kelce, George Kittle, whatever. It's Tony Romo. Is Tony Romo now under the most pressure this Sunday? Well, he's locked into a gajillion-dollar contract, so probably not. But I'm expecting a bounce-back performance from our guy Tony Romo. I mean, it's not like the guy's ever messed up in the clutch, right? I want to say the last time it was that Tampa Bay Super Bowl, right? Last time CBS had it. Yes. It was Tampa Bay KC. Is that a good omen for the 49ers? The only time Mahomes has lost in the Super Bowl was a CBS broadcast, although the last time the Niners lost as well was a Fox, but then prior to that was also CBS. So maybe it's a moot point. I don't know. I'm just trying to find anything. Guys, we got another day, another half of this show, and then we're on Monday. I'll be the first voice you guys hear, and we're going to be talking about jubilation or depression. There's no in between. It's going to be the greatest high of your life as a sports fan or the greatest low. What's it going to be? For the life of me, again, and I went on that mini rant last segment, the 49ers are the better team. So why is everyone picking the Chiefs? Why is all this money coming in on Kansas City? The public loves them, and I get it. And I love that if I'm a fan, by the way. all the sharp money, the wise guys, they're all going all in on the Niners. In Vegas, as the saying goes, the house always wins. So it feels like Vegas is in line to take all the suckers' money, and everyone's just going on KC, whether it's Taylor Swift, whether it's Travis Kelce, whether it's just Patrick Mahomes being that good, Andy Reid, whatever. Whatever it is. But if you just take a step back and just go up and down both of these rosters. Let's start with the head coach. You're taking Kyle Shanahan, you're taking Andy Reid. All right, you're taking Andy Reid. He's been there, he's done that. He's also lost, but he's won. So you have to give him that. They won last year. His quarterback was on a bum ankle. Patrick Mahomes, Brock Purdy. That's easy. Patrick Mahomes. Both of these offensive lines, believe it or not, I think I'm taking the Niners offensive line. And you might say Spadoni, that's crazy. I don't know. Trent Williams, Colton McKivitz, you know what? We haven't called Colton McKivitz's tongue twister. We haven't called his name a lot. Aaron Banks, John Feliciano, Raider legend, Miami Hurricane legend. I'm bullish on that O-line for the Niners. So I'm taking the Niners O-line. Backfield, I'm taking McCaffrey over Pacheco. Linebacker core, if we're going defense, taking the Niners. Defensive front, I feel like Nick Bosa and Chris Jones are a wash. Then it comes, to the other guys. Charles Omenihu, huge loss for the Chiefs that I don't think is getting talked about enough. Niner fans know him well. And then, it's about who makes plays outside of those guys. Karlaftis, second-year man out of Purdue, he makes plays. Will Chase Young, will Randy Gregory, Hargrave. They got the names to do it, but I'm going to lean on the Chiefs D-line right now. Okay, that's fine. I go secondary. Chiefs D-line and their secondary is what they hang their hat on. Because if the D-line's not getting home, that secondary, McDuffie and co., they're stingy enough to, get the job done, force a coverage sack, if you will. That's why I think Brock Purdy's wheels are also so important in this game. His scrambling ability will be massive. Massive. Real quick before the break, I want to get to my guy Raj in New Jersey before I wrap up this X's and O's. Who you like on both sides. I'm just presenting the facts to you folks. If you go up and down these rosters, and I haven't even gotten to the skill position players, which the Niners dominate at, you're trying to get a picture here. You're starting to get one. The Niners just have the better team. Raj, New Jersey. What's going on, Raj?
Spadoni, good morning. Thank you very much for your coverage. And, just make one point. Looking forward to this game, obviously, on Sunday. I agree with you. I like a lot of our matchups. Here's one which could go the wrong way based on what I heard yesterday from Willard on the game. If Purdy's nervous early, which he has been a little bit in these first two playoff games, you're going up against a guy who's won Super Bowls with Steve Spagnuolo, who knows how to coach a rush, coach a pass rush. And as you mentioned, McKivitz, all right, we haven't talked about him, but I don't know if he's seen anything like this, especially on the big stage. So if you're giving me McKivitz, who might be a little bit of a turnstile at times, plus Spagnuolo's experience with this D-line, and then a nervous Purdy, that could go really wrong for us in the first few minutes of this game, and that might even decide it. That's what worries me right now. But outside of that, I agree with you. I think we can move the ball against them if we run it, and I do think our defense will bounce back, knowing that if they don't, there's going to be a lot of heads that roll in the offseason. Thank you very much, Spadoni. Looking forward to more of your coverage. Thank you.
Thanks, Raj. That's Raj out in New Jersey. 888-957-9570 is the call. We love Jersey. I think we're Jersey's number one West Coast station, whatever that means. Raj doing a hell of a job out there. I thought he was on Radio Row for a second, but lest I forget, it's normal time over there. It's 8:43. It's 5:43, and we're up against it. 888-957-9570. We'll react to Raj's call on the other side. More of your calls, more of your texts. if the 49ers, they have the better team, then why is everyone picking the Chiefs? That's what I want to know. On 95.7 The Game.
Denise has been playing jazz for 40 years. Last concert, one of the musicians fell sick with RSV, respiratory syncytial.
Welcome back. Pregame show, Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game. Bontaine Chasky, right around the corner. Morning roast. They're heading to Vegas this weekend and will be live on Monday or Tuesday, either very happy or very sad. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. 3 days, 9 hours, 40 minutes, 35, 4, 3, 2, 1 seconds until Super Bowl 58. We're talking Niners. We're talking Chiefs. We're talking to you on Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. And good morning to everyone just waking up, getting ready for work, getting ready for the weekend. No rain. There's no rain in the forecast. Thank God. It's been killing me, especially if you have little kids. You guys know what I'm talking about. They get cabin fever very quickly. And I need these kids to run around somewhere else other than my house. The parks, they're all wet. They're damp. You just get all mud everywhere. It's just... So please, rain. Be gone for a little bit. I can deal with the cold. I can bundle them up, get a quadruple beanies on, looking like... who's my guy? Ralphie's little brother from A Christmas Story. Randy. Yeah, look like Randy. I can deal with that. It's not the rain. So please, be gone. All right. Super Bowl 58. I mean, if you just watch the coverage right now, if you look everywhere else, it's the Chiefs, right? Chiefs are winning this game. You know, they're defending champs. They got Patrick Mahomes. They got Travis Kelce. They got Taylor Swift coming. Well, maybe. I don't know. Now Travis is backtracking. They're going to win. Why even show up? Oh, Usher's there. Cool. But if you've watched the games all year long, and I get it, even if you just go to the postseason, get rid of the regular season, just go to the postseason. I get it. The Chiefs have looked better than the Niners in the postseason. They have. But that performance from the 49ers against the Lions in that second half, if that doesn't sway your perception at all about them going into this game in a positive light, I don't know what to tell you. I think something clicked in that second half for this team. And I get it, the effort, yeah, that's concerning in that first half. If they did that again in this game, then I got to start looking at the coaching staff. I got to look at these players. Changes need to be made. Which is crazy to say because you were just in the Super Bowl and now you're going to get rid of it. Well, if it's effort-based, then yes. It's unacceptable. But outside of that, the way Debo put that offense on his back, the way Christian McCaffrey put that offense on his back, the way Brock Purdy put that offense on his back, the amount of people stepping up in that game, I'm very confident in the 49ers' ability to score in this Chiefs defense. Very confident. I think way more confident than most people are. Because most people are looking at this matchup between Spagnuolo and Kyle Shanahan, like Raj in New Jersey. He's worried about the edge with Colton McKivitz. They're going to try to attack that. They're going to try to get Brock uncomfortable. Need I remind you, a similar thing happened early on, and I know it's a regular season game, this is a Super Bowl. It's different, but it's the same season, and at the time, it was the biggest game of the year, and that was in Philadelphia. That was revenge game for the 49ers. And in that first quarter, what happened? Bend and don't break defense for the Niners. It was 6-0. Could have easily been 14-0, but they tightened up in the red zone. The Chiefs defense forced a couple, the Eagles defense forced a couple 3-and-outs. They were getting after Purdy. They started passing for some reason. Didn't start off with the run. Purdy was getting, battered back there. But it was only 6-0. If the Chiefs don't capitalize early in this game, and it's a close game, I know everyone says that favors Kansas City. Everyone's going to say that because of Mahomes, and I get it. But Brock Purdy is just as capable of leading his team down the field for a game-winning score. We've seen it. He has shown you the last 2 weeks of the postseason. Quite literally shown you the ability to do that. So, if you're calling this team a front-runner team still and the Niners need to get out to a lead and sit on it, sure. Everyone wants to get out to a lead. But if it's 10-0, if it's 7-0, come on. Even 13-0. Still a 2-score game. I'm not worried. Now, is it concerning? Are Niner fans going to be worried? Sure, because you're a fan. I get it. You should be. That's you. Neutral observer watching it? The Niners got action with Brock Purdy. More so than they ever did with Jimmy Garoppolo when push came to shove. And Jimmy did some good things. It's just different under Brock. His scrambling ability, his will in the clutch as of late. There is this feeling. You can't quantify it, but when you have throws like Purdy had to Jennings or Ayuk, like these amazing things happen, like those are the things that lead to a Super Bowl championship. Now, the Chiefs have also had some amazing plays and amazing games, signature moments, MVS, right? The fumbling against the Bills, but tightening up on defense when it mattered most, dominating the Dolphins. I'm having a hard time feeling like, the Niners, they're really just going to have a very hard time in this. They had the best offense all year. What are we doing? Peter King asked, who has the most to gain by winning the Super Bowl? Take a listen.
Brock Purdy. Imagine you're in your second year in the NFL. You're the 262nd pick in the draft, and you come in and you have a head-to-head matchup with far and away, easily, no doubt, the best quarterback in the game, with a brilliant tactician in Andy Reid, and you do enough against a brilliant defensive tactician and a really good defense run by Steve Spagnuolo, and you win that game. I mean, Brock Purdy is never buying a meal again for the rest of his life in any community in the northern coast of California.
Well, he can't right now. He just doesn't have enough money. But when he gets paid, Brock, you better be picking up the tab. Come on. I always think that's so funny. That guy's never paying for a meal again. Yeah, that works for like the Travis Ishikawas of the world. But if Brock wins this Super Bowl, he's going to get a massive payday. And Brock Purdy, if we're at the same bar or something, I'm expecting you, my brother, to pick up that tab. Yes. I got 2 kids and a bunch of problems. Shout out Guru. Come on. So funny. Yeah, let's pick up the athlete that's making millions of dollars. Pick up his tab. You don't have to pay him for a single cent here. No, you're paying, buddy. You're paying. That might be a hot take. I don't care. But I get what he's saying. The most to gain, if we're going players, is Brock Purdy. Patrick Mahomes is cemented already for me as a top 4 quarterback in the history of the game. He's on the Mount Rushmore already. It's Brady, Montana, Elway, and Mahomes. That's the crew. And if Mahomes wins another, then he surpasses Elway to me. And some say he might already. And that's fine for you. That's fine. But I'm a historian. And what Elway did, and I know he got smoked in the Super Bowls, those early ones, in his prime. He was dragging some teams and some offenses that had no business getting to that Super Bowl. I give him a lot of credit. It's like how we bashed LeBron for losing in the finals when he dragged a Cleveland Cavaliers team that, again, had no business going to the finals. God, he made 10 straight, by the way. That's unbelievable. It's never going to happen again. Ever. 10 straight. God, he slept on still. You'll still like to hate. Again, I get it when it's your own team going against him. Like Steph versus LeBron. That's the greatness of Patrick Mahomes. And he's only 28, which is gross. He's so damn good, and he's still so young. The greatness of Patrick Mahomes cannot be taken for granted. And Brock Purdy, your guy, is going to be going toe-to-toe against one of the greatest of all time. And if he beats him, his legacy is sealed forever. Nick Foles is a legend forever in Philadelphia. Eli Manning, he won 2 of them, but against Tom Brady, legend forever. Right? It doesn't matter. Just win the damn game, Brock. It's all that matters. And all that matters next is the morning roast. Bonte Hill, Joe Shasky, 95.7 The Game.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game.